resist the daily insults to human and earth dignity. I'm proud to proclaim that I've chosen whose side I'm on. I'm on the side of truth. I'm on the side of justice. And I'm on the side of peace.
You are tuned into Quantum Connections, where you get your Truth Frequency news only on Truth Frequency Radio. We give you the real news that you cannot normally find. We highlight how events of today affect the future, present, and past. We also show you how the subjects we dwell on receive our energy from our thoughts, emotions, and discussions. We focus on love, life, truth, and the sciences pertaining to that. And now, listen closely, because we are real and we are live. I'm muted. There it is. Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, the 23rd of May. Looks like we're going to have to go out on YouTube because I don't hear anything on TFR right now. So, Brooks, I'll need a link.
Oh, okay. It's pretty easy.
Or are we on YouTube?
It's just youtube.com/Brooks Agnew.
Okay, we can do it that way. Here we go. So just a second, because I see it's not on the my notifications for some reason. I didn't get notified. That
I know. YouTube shut off all the notifications. They're going they're going out of business.
Yeah, so that's why we have to find alternative methods of broadcasting everywhere we go, because it just seems like the system wants to cut us out of everything. So what I shall do is I will help the TFR chat room by giving them the link. All right, there you guys go. All right, so those of you who are just joining us, thank you. I'm Lucky One. You're listening to Quantum Connections here on TFRlive.com. And we've got a lot of news for you today. So I want everybody to pay attention, because this is going to be life affirming, and it's going to be about justice. And and we do have to cover the injustice to show where the justice and truth will always prevail. It will come out. Maybe not the first day, not the second day, but all these people who were saying that there was a coup going on with the election in 2016, it ends up they were right. Okay, so here's the huge news, and let me go over it, and then Brooks and I will chop it up on that. So what happened is the FBI appears to have referred to Sussman as the U.S. Department of Justice in the document opening the investigation to the supposed Trump-Russia back channel. Okay, so hear me out on this. This is not some kooky conspiracy theory. This is a fact. I saw the script. Anyway, so the writer, and this is on National Review, I believe. I have already closed down the pages. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, there it is, nationalreview.com. And so this is a reporter who's been following this stuff, but he had a column up on the homepage this morning about curious fact that Michael Sussman, currently on trial for making false statements to the FBI, had a badge that permitted him to enter the FBI headquarters and roam around the place. Because, folks, you and I just can't walk in off the street. Private citizens just cannot walk in off the street. Non-affiliated to the government people cannot just walk in off the street. All right. Anyway, so the reported details that seems awfully peculiar, since Sussman had not been in a Justice Department lawyer for many years. He is a highly paid private attorney whose clients, famously the DNC, with respect to its hacked servers, which were withheld from the FBI, sometimes takes positions opposed to the government's. This intriguing fact seems to have escaped much notice at the trial last week. We theorize that it's because neither Sussman lawyers or special counsel John Durham's prosecutors see the upside in highlighting it. Regardless of that, the conclusion, the public deserves an explanation of why Sussman had a badge, allowing him to enter and wander around the FBI headquarters, and why the FBI brass took such extraordinary measures to conceal his identity as the source of Trump-Russia information. On that last point, this morning we have a remarkable report from the Washington Examiner's Jerry Dunleavy. Astonishingly, when the FBI wrote up its standard EC, which is electronic communication, that opens the investigation into the allegation that Donald Trump had established a communications back channel with Russia, it claimed that the information had come to the Bureau from the U.S. Department of Justice. In fact, it came from Sussman. a lawyer for the Clinton campaign. As it was said, when asked by the examiner for comment, this seems outrageous. It was one of the maddening things for the FBI top officials to decide to conceal Sussman's identity from the agents who were tasked with assessing the information that Sussman had provided. But it's quite another thing to say the information came not from a confidential informant, not from a Clinton campaign lawyer, but from the Justice Department. So that made it super official, right? It lends a lot of weight to the credibility to those who I'm speaking on my own behalf here, Luckee. It lends a lot of credibility to the weight of a testimony or a statement if it's coming from a department of the government, especially one as formidable as the Department of Justice. So it's not just some guy, it's not just some lawyer, it's not just some campaign kid, it's not just some person off the street, it's not even a do-gooder. So anyway, the trial is continuing this week, and some of the agents involved in the investigation opening document may be testifying. Perhaps there will be some explanation. But Luckee, I don't think so. Okay, that's the end of the article. Brooks, your comments, your thoughts.
Well, I think they're playing some legalese, some hopscotch. But with the recent witnesses, and I'm getting the transcript almost on a daily basis and going through it myself, it looks like Sussman's going to be found guilty. He was not an innocent bystander. He was an integral and knowledgeable player in this. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was, in fact, representing the Clinton campaign puts him directly in the breach of the barrel that's aimed at Hillary Clinton. And they're not done yet. They're not done because Rodney Joffe is going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He not only monitored the DNS that was coming out of the White House, he faked it. He created it out of nothing. And that's what he gave to Sussman. And Sussman knew it was fake. And he still took it to the FBI. That goes way beyond lying. That's called conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. Well, it goes even further than that because not only the conspiracy there, not just the crime of that, but he's an attorney who committed this crime. And then there is the FBI, right. Whoever typed up or whoever took in that information and wrote it up as this was brought by the Department of Justice. They knew damn well he didn't work for the Department of Justice. He had no business having that badge on. He had, so they lied. They knew damn well he was not part of the Department of Justice anymore.
Right.
Okay. They had to know. All right. Then it begs the question. So just how many civilians are walking around the country with badges from the Department of Justice that they didn't turn in their badge? I guarantee you. Okay. Everybody knows if you worked for the Census Bureau, they will charge you. They will imprison. They will go to your house. We had to get DHS or not DHS, FBI. Yeah, actually, it was DHS too. DHS to come out and take people's badges and their equipment and everything from the Census Bureau when they were no longer working for the Census Bureau and they refused to turn in their gear.
Yeah, you can't just walk around with that forever.
Huh?
You can't just walk around with that ID.
No, even the expired ID, the government wants that stuff back. And I assure you, because I was one who had to go out and collect. All right. So when I let these people know, hey, you don't give it to me now, the FBI and the DHS will be at your house and I or my supervisor will be with them and we'll be taking pictures. You'll be on YouTube, you know. Well, you can't go around with we can't go around with government identification that you don't, to a department. That gives you special status.
Sure.
And I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and it gives you a improper credentials. Mm-hmm. It's like impersonating an officer.
Right. But I want to know who is in charge of regaining that ID badge, whether it be a badge like as in the shield or an identification lanyard that allowed him in and out of that office. I want that person hung up to dry too. Guess what? Because you didn't do your job, you let somebody go around with this ID that is now false because it expired or it was no longer in effect. So this guy got to go around doing this and used that because he used it to get in the building. And the FBI hid behind the idea that it came from the DOJ because this guy had a badge. The FBI knew, they knew.
Of course,
So
they were all in
lied
on it.
in that testimony. Huh?
They were all in on it.
So this Clinton crime syndicate is even worse than we even thought. I mean, and you've written great books and done extensive research into their past and everything. You've done some serious details, but we did not see this coming.
Well, I mean, no, not this specific, but the FBI has been falsifying legal evidence for a long, long time, intimidating witnesses, killing judges, bribing people. They have been involved in the worst, and probably assassinations. They've been involved in the worst crimes that have ever been committed in this country. Look what they did on January 6th. Those guys went there and impersonated Trump supporters, broke windows, threw things, pushed people around, got the crowd riled up. And then as soon as the crowd walked in the door, they disappeared. None of them got arrested. Look what they did up in Michigan. They attempted to plot to kidnap the governor of the state. The FBI is dirty, rotten, filthy, corrupt, and it needs to be disbanded.
I have to agree with you on that. You know why? Here's another thing, too. Think about it. Randy Weaver has recently passed away. Now, for those of you who don't know who Randy Weaver is, he was an American patriot. He was independent. I don't even know what his political affiliation is. He was also a widow because the FBI killed his wife. Okay, murdered his wife on Ruby Ridge.
Right.
Those of you who are younger, if you were born after 2001, you need to look this stuff up. Okay, you need to look it up. You need to read up on it. Those of you who were born before 2001, refresh your memory. Okay, Randy Weaver, Ruby Ridge. This was an operation by the United States government. Okay, this man had his own mountain. He was independent. You know, one of those homesteading type of, loners. Not loners. He had a family.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very healthy situation too, and it was horrible what happened to him. What happened is the FBI approached him undercover, and they asked him to take their shotguns and saw off the barrel on it. You know,
shorter than 18 inches.
Right, and which is illegal. Excuse me. Yes, it's illegal. It's not unlawful. It is illegal. Please know the difference. So there's some homework for y'all. Okay, I want everybody to do a report on the difference between illegal and unlawful, and you submit it to me either at truthfrequencynews@gmail.com, or you can post it in the chat room here at tfrlive.com/chat. Register and put it in there. Book report due. Anyway, so lawful versus legal. So back to it. So the fact is back in the 90s, I can't remember which year, but it was terrible. They approached him and asked him, they told him they'll pay him to just go ahead and saw off the barrel. To which I say is like, look, panty waist, you really need to do your own. Here's a saw, you do it yourself and walk away, because that's a trap. So when anybody offers you money to do something that's illegal on your gun, okay, or their gun, don't do it. We know this one. Anyway, the point is, so after that whole rigmarole, what happened is they entrapped him, and so he went back to his homestead, which is very well defended. They killed his dog. I think that they shot at his son, if I recall rightly. It's been a few days.
Yeah, because his son was out and about, and because there were prowlers on the property. So the son went out and about, and they shot at him.
Right. They killed the dog, and then so the sniper, and we'll get into who the sniper was in the future, sometime here in the future, because that guy's related to newer events since then. So the FBI sniper killed, I lost her name, Vicky. I think her name was Vicky Weaver, something like that. They killed Mrs. Weaver. She was holding her infant in her hands. They shot her through a door, headshot, killed her. Now, those of you who are thinking that's a great shot, you better rethink that, because there's a lot of fallout happened since then. And that was during the Clinton years, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was during the Clinton years when the FBI was just getting all kinds of new powers and authorities and toys.
Oh, they were having big fun. And don't forget what happened at Waco, too.
Exactly. It was the Branch Davidians. Same thing. That was entrapment. Well, for the most part. But the thing is they did not have to go to the compound. The FBI could have taken care of that situation had they had the balls to confront the man in public at the grocery store that he was just at. He was at the grocery store. They could have gone in there and arrested him right there on the spot, or whatever they had to do, detain him, whatever it is. Okay. But no, they let him get back to the compound, into the very well secure compound. And it was the FBI that fired it up. The FBI is what set the fire on that compound. And they killed children and women and all kinds of
burned them
innocent
alive
people.
on national television.
Yeah, that's some bad stuff. And I'll tell you something, the United States government does not have a very good track record on its mercy or gentility. It doesn't. It is the most brutal cadre of people in the world. Yeah, I can say that. They are the most, I will say it again, they were the most brutal cadre of people in the world.
Well, they certainly had no mercy on those people. And it was just a matter of, they built a fence around them and fenced them in and wouldn't let them escape. And then what they did is they went in and filled the place with a flammable gas. Of course, they had the electricity cut off for about 3 weeks. So they were heating the place and lighting the place with kerosene lanterns. And so they filled the place with a flammable gas, and it went up like a hot air balloon. It was unbelievable how fast that thing burned. And everybody died. They assassinated them right there on live television. Everybody watched it. And nothing happened to Janet Reno. Nothing at all.
I know. Yeah, she got to retire and everything like that, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm putting a link in here. Hang on. Here we go. There. I'll let others take care of the rest of it. Okay, so anyway, what is okay. Somebody just sent something in the chat and I couldn't get past it. Sorry about that. So of course now, you've got all kinds of trolls coming out and they are talking junk. Like one person told me, he said, that was not a coup. Got it. Let's see, that Trump was not president when this happened. So it was not a coup. But it was a coup, because even though Trump was not president when it initially happened, the continued cover-up by the FBI is the coup. And the so-called investigation into this matter is the coup. The continued tweets and commentary by liberals is the coup, especially if they were in government. So yes, there was a coup. It was a preemptive coup.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm fired up about this.
It was a coup because in 2016 the election was over. In 2017 the inauguration took place, but it was not a peaceful transition of power. Even though President Trump said this is not a peaceful transition of power, this from one political party to another, it's the transfer of power from Washington, D.C. back to the people. The Democrats considered it, even though they were out of power, even though they were in the minority and had no committee heads at all, they considered it not a peaceful transition of power. And they started a movement to destroy the presidency, and this is their wording, not mine, by any means possible.
Yep. And I sit here and I look at this and I'm recalling 2016. I'm recalling all the events that was taking place in 2017. I'm recalling how James Comey stood up there and told the whole world via the media press conference that he had, he was not, that yes, Hillary did things that were wrong, but he found it would not be prosecutable in court.
Well, he said no reasonable prosecutor would bring this case. That's what he said.
That's an opinion. That's an opinion that he had. And everybody was like, oh, okay. And that's when you and I decided to talk, and we were talking about that charm and favor thing, because everybody, when he talks, everybody's like totally dumbified. And they're mute, and they're like, oh, okay. All right.
Because
for some reason,
he had the charm and favor on him.
Yeah, he did. He did indeed. So anyway, it's been quite the busy day. So I'm trying to find the other stuff. Let's see. So Glenn Greenwald went on. Hillary's campaign not only used the media and the FBI to spread this lie, FBI investigated and quickly determined it was BS, but Hillary herself used Twitter to spread this information in a viral tweet, which of course remains up with no label on Twitter, where she says computer scientists have apparently uncovered a covert server linking Trump Organization to a Russian bank. And in response to a new report from Slate showing that the Trump Organization has a secret server registered to Trump Tower that's been covertly communicating with Russia, Hillary for America's senior policy advisor, Jake Sullivan, released the following statement Monday. Quote, this could be the most direct link between Donald Trump and Moscow. Computer scientists have apparently uncovered a covert server linking the Trump Organization to a Russian based bank. This secret hotline may be the key to unlocking the mystery of Trump's ties to Russia. It certainly seems the Trump Organization had felt it had something to hide, given that it apparently took steps to conceal the link when it was discovered by journalists. What? This line of communication may help explain Trump's bizarre adoration of Vladimir Putin and endorsement of so many pro-Kremlin positions through his campaign. It raises even more troubling questions in light of Russia's masterminding of hacking efforts that were clearly intended to hurt Hillary Clinton's campaign. We can only assume that federal authorities will now explore this direct connection. Okay, let me read that part again. We can only assume that federal authorities will now explore this direct connection between Trump and Russia as part of their existing probe into Russia's meddling in our elections. This was posted 31 October 2016. This is electioneering right here. This is election, what is it? Interference.
Tampering.
Yes, it is. Okay. And so they did do this. And of course, Twitter usually has a banner on things that says this is disinformation, blah, blah, blah. Right. They were so quick to take Trump down off of Twitter, but this gets to sit there and remain and stew for years. It is 2022. That is 6 years ago, or almost 6 years ago. So people are now taking this particular thing to task, this tweet. And somebody posted, I've reported this tweet as misleading information to the powers that be at Twitter. I would be interested to know if, when you receive control over the company, anything was done with this at any level. Please advise soonest. Elon Musk did respond. He responded. He said, you are absolutely correct. That tweet is a Clinton campaign hoax for which their campaign lawyer is undergoing a criminal trial.
Bingo.
Right? Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. So there's more. Okay. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg was named Monday in a lawsuit alleging that he played a direct role in decisions that set the stage for the Cambridge Analytica privacy scandal. Remember Cambridge Analytica? They are the ones that Trump used in order to tailor their tweets and their public persona and things like that in the 2016 presidential election. Now, Trump didn't do anything wrong. He hired an analytics company, right? So that campaign didn't do anything wrong. It was the relationship between Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, selling people's information to this analyst. So all these liberals who are so pissed off about how Trump won back then, they can talk to Zuckerberg. All of a sudden, they won't be talking on Facebook so much anymore, huh?
Well, yeah, but then the fake stream news downplays all that stuff. The people that need to hear it don't hear it. The people that do hear it already know it, so it doesn't go anywhere. Nothing happens.
Kind of like how the ads do, right?
Yeah.
Like if you pay for ads, if a private citizen buys an ad on Facebook, nobody sees it. Okay, except the people who have you as on the top of the list that they want to see your posts first.
Right.
Anyways, so get this, okay? Giuliani said Martha Stewart went to jail for lying to the FBI 1 time. Hillary Clinton did it 39 times. Do not tell the American people that there is not a sort of royalty here in this country.
Oh, yeah.
We've got special people who's beyond the law or above the law. Let's just say it that way. Wow, that was a quick segment, wasn't it, Brooks?
Oh, yeah.
All right. We will be right back, folks. You're listening to TFRlive.com and many other streams, as I understand it. This Lucky One will be right back in 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
If you don't sow, you don't reap. You don't even have a chance. So if you looked at your game plan tomorrow, you might come to the quick conclusion, I got to get some sowing going. How true. Get you some sowing going. And remember, you've got plenty of time. You've got all the time there is. Some people spend enough TV time to make a fortune. I asked a guy one time what his TV cost. He said about $450. I said, you forgot to look at the price tag. He said, what do you mean? I knew he was a TV watcher. I said, that television costs you, in my opinion, at least $12,000 a year to watch it, not to own it. Owning it's cheap. Watching it is what's expensive. And I said, hey, $12,000 a year is too much to pay to watch TV. That's too much. Pay a little, but not $12,000. And he's the guy that said, I hope pay TV never
From the
comes.
dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression. It goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? BioLife is a 90% pure CBD oil made with organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ialife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
Your protection from deception. TLR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
And we're back, everybody. I hope you had a great break. I know I did. Let's see. What happened here?
I'm checking the dimensions here. This is what happens every single time we go to break. The NDI will change dimensions, but we got it fixed now.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And so I'm just letting my people know. Okay, I've got an echo going on here, so back up that way. And okay, so
I turned my
here we go.
volume down a little bit. There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so the next item up is the monkeypox. And what just came across on my field, it's good. The CDC has come out and said that monkeypox may be mistaken for sexual transmitted disease. And this is what I said earlier, Brooks, when we were talking, is that monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted disease by itself. It's just like saying the cold is sexually transmitted.
Oh,
Okay.
I see. Okay.
So
it
yeah,
is
it
is a sister of smallpox, but not deadly.
exactly. It's not as deadly. It's not as virulent either. And what I was working on this morning, and basically, wow, I went deep in the rabbit hole today. I'm sorry, so I'm a little bit kind of torqued out about that. You know how it goes when you go deep. Nope, that's not it. All right, that's not it. Gosh, dag it, I hate it. Where did it go? Anyway, let me go back to Twitter because my goodness, Twitter is the place to be. And it just closed. Hey, with that. Oh my god. What is this one? I've got some kind of delay going on with my computer. I hope I didn't break it. All right, now cleaned up. There we go. And it's still loading. But yeah, you had a great show last night. I'll tell you what, I am really, really impressed. You had a great big show. It was awesome. There was a lot of good stories on there, and I have to encourage everybody, if you're not listening to X Squared Radio on Sunday night, you're really missing out. And most of the time, Brooks has stories that is going to be covered in the next week. Somehow, some way, I know that this was happening all the time. It was getting kind of a, not ooga booga, but surreal how he was able to predict what was going to be on the headlines for the next week. It was very weird. So that's why I started listening, and then I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so what happened is I got a lot of activity on Twitter because of a great, almost there, a great post by somebody. Where is she? Hang on a second, let me get her now, because I said wrong. It's the thing that everybody loved. I got a whole kinds of traffic here on Twitter because of this. And it just amazed me how all of a sudden I'm able to get followers again. They're starting to show up. Very weird. And that's not it. Great. Bloody hell. Hang on. Let's see. All right. Going back in time. Let's try it that way. All right. So Natalie Winters, that's what I would recommend people follow her on Twitter. She's got a lot of great research. Again, her name is Natalie G. Winters on Twitter. She posted a few months ago, the Wuhan Institute of Virology assembled monkeypox strains so that they'd be able to conduct PCR tests with the virus in the future. Keep that note in your head. I responded, unfortunately, I had to. Wrong. This was done in August of 2021. The paper was published in February 2022. And I showed the link, I showed the page where it had been submitted for publication on 10 August 2021. So that means they were working on this for months ahead of time. This is when they were completed and had it printed up and submitted for publication.
Total
it was accepted
setup.
23 February. Say again?
A total setup.
Exactly. All right. So it's called Efficient Assembly of Large Fragment Monkeypox Virus Genome as a qPCR template using dual selection based transformation associated recombination. This has been going on for a long time. In addition to that, there's more. I know, guys. There's more. So I had posted to her personally because all of her fans came out, detractors came out and went ballistic on me, saying that I was attacking her, and they would call me all kinds of names. Boy, I got to block a lot of people. But anyway, I told her it was not an attack. I was not trying to knock her down. I was trying to show what exactly was going on. Because the global systems to prevent and respond to high consequence biological threats, that organization, okay, they were discussing organized into 3 sequential moves corresponding with scenario developments. This is for drills and, for crisis practice, crisis drills, followed by a roundtable discussion of broader biosecurity and pandemic preparedness issues. This step-by-step approach to revealing scenario developments reflected in the limitations of information available to real-world decision makers, as well as resulting uncertainties associated with pandemic of unknown origin. Figure 1, scenario design summary. Attack, May 15th, 2022. This is just a drill. This is the paperwork on drills. Scenario, monkeypox outbreak in, I can't read that word, 1,421 cases and something deaths. Attack, May 15th, 2022. That was in the drill. Monkeypox, something that has not been dealt with or had to deal with in years because it comes from the western part of Africa.
Yeah.
And by the way, just so everybody knows, monkeypox is just a name because it was found on a monkey once. All right. The actual transmission of this bug, this particular virus, is actually through rodents. Okay. So rodents oftentimes transfer this particular pox. Please do know that this thing is not as widespread as they're trying to claim. This is another operation. This is I just want to make sure everybody knows this is my opinion on this because it's pretty much like the COVID. It's a big ooga booga. We had been taught here on Quantum Connections, here on TFRlive.com, and definitely on X Squared Radio. We have been predicting that they are coming out with the new ooga booga, a new scare tactic. Hey, by the way, Brooks, did you use that phrase on my show, on your show
I
last
did.
night?
I used it.
I am all that because I made that phrase up. I hashtagged it. It's mine. Ooga booga. And that's why a lot of people use that phrase on YouTube's channels. So forgive me if I've been saying all these different words. And if you get hit with it, Brooks, we'll take it private later and just post it on Element and all other streaming platforms that permit it. Okay. Wow, because it is an ooga booga. All right. And yes, like I said, Chris Geo got to use it on his channel because how can you filter that out? Ooga booga? Really? It sounds like something stupid, right? Well, because it is stupid. It's an ooga booga. It's what's the fearsome dosum, if you will? That is the next bugbear, the next fearscape.
Yeah.
That's basically what they've done.
The next panicdemic.
Panic pandemic. Yeah, exactly. So I have been posting quite busily here, and I've had to because Twitter went ballistic here for a few minutes. August is not. Anyway, I said August is not just a few months ago when it was assembled. They submitted the paper about assembling it. I'm trying to find the rest of this. Hold on. Look. Got it. All right. I'm looking for the thing about fearscape. So, because a lot of people are getting very afraid. They're getting very afraid. And again, if anybody here follows Natalie, please do know I was not attacking her. I'm a researcher and I've never heard of Natalie because I don't watch TV. All right. The post was to draw attention that this is a long game. It certainly was not meant to fire people up. Oh, so here's another thing. I'll get that later. We are in the middle of a bunch of FUD. Okay. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Okay. Fear, uncertainty, doubt is what the headlines use. They will do it to scare us to death. They're trying to scare us to death. An afraid population is an easily controllable one. You can fright, and that's what they're doing is you got all these entities, you got all these wolves out there and a whole bunch of sheep, and they're easily scared by whichever wolf is coming at them, the white wolf, the black wolf, the red wolf. It doesn't matter what color, what background the wolf has. Got all these different fearsome situations going on and you've got an exhausted herd. I'll be frank, we are acting like freaking sheep. We're exhausted by chasing details in these headlines. We're busy. We're afraid because the government is cracking down on everything we do. If it's not the government, it's the government sanction, the good kind of sanctions. The government permitted big corporations, big tech, and things like that, how they get to do things that scares us to death. Okay. The pointer seal of approval. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's something else. My bad. Oh, it's hiding behind the show more badge here. Hang on. Here we go. And we warned everybody. You and I have warned a lot of people. There's a lot of people who've been warned and they're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, and I cannot find that thing. I can't find it, what I was looking for. I'm sorry. So what to do about the monkeypox? The ooga booga. The thing that's not as serious as the freaking smallpox. All right. Don't forget, smallpox was eradicated by vaccination by 1980. That was the last of the series of smallpox vaccines being given out. So please, folks, if they're scaring you with the monkeypox is related to it. So you don't have, if you got the smallpox vaccine, you don't have to worry about this thing. Seriously. Anyway, there's something called colloidal silver and ionic silver. All right. And you can use both of these items. They're totally different, or not totally different, but they're very different things. All right. Ionic, I'm going to let Brooks do this. Hang on. Brooks is the chemist. Hi, Brooks.
I know some chemistry.
Yeah, you know some chemistry, don't you? So in layman's terms, the difference between ionic silver and colloidal silver, please, if you will.
Well, ionic silver is free ions, so silver normally has a +1 ionic charge to it. When it is metal, it is 2 atoms together to make a molecule, okay? So colloidal, to form a colloid, is like an ionic compound. It's a specific kind of structure, but it can be crystalline. It can be different numbers of molecules that make up a colloid. But that's the difference between what's called monatomic or ionic silver, which is Ag+, or the metal itself.
Okay, so to tell the difference, I know that to tell the difference between ionic and the other is ionic is clear liquid.
Yes.
Okay, so don't be, if you do decide to use ionic or colloidal silvers, I would recommend having both because they have separate treatment values.
And you should be careful because you can get too much silver in your system. There's a reason why the royals were called blue bloods. It's because they used to ingest silver because silver was known to fight bacteria and keep you from getting infections, and the royals were inbreds anyway and had weak immune systems, but they would take so much that their skin would suddenly turn gray, and that's why they were called blue bloods.
Oh, I thought it was because you can see the blue veins coming through easily because of their white skin.
No, their skin would actually turn gray. Because they would take
even worse.
They would take too much.
Yikes. Okay. So anyway, there are protocols on what to take and how much to take. I would recommend getting the colloidal silver, and you need to have that in your medicine cabinet. Anyway. Take a little bit every day.
Yep.
In addition, there is the ionic, which you can spray. Use those Afrin. You know how people use Afrin?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could do the same thing with ionic silver. Do the same thing with that, and it clears up your lungs. And I'm getting so many reports on this, on how much better people are feeling just by taking it now and it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder about all these chemtrails that's going on. Is this a great preventative for anything that's being delivered in the chemtrails, or let's say pollution from air travel? I mean,
It's
it
good
could
for
be
all
that.
kinds of things. I mean, it will fight bacterial infections. It'll fight viral infections. You can put it on topically. You can put it on top of your skin. You can put it under your tongue. There's a lot of different things, ways you can use silver, and it works. You could put it on an infected fingernail. You can do it's amazing stuff.
Okay, so now let's make sure that I want to make sure that everybody out there understands we're not trying to sell it. I don't have any for sale. I am not going to recommend any one company or anybody. I would actually recommend, if you are a sovereign person and you are all about your own personal responsibility and liberty, make it yourself. It's not hard to do. But don't be fooled by the marketing that's going on with all these. There's a lot of quacks out there, and they will purposefully gin up everything so that people who want to make their own are scared off of doing it. But get yourself a reputable dealer, especially if you know somebody who is making it. Learn from them, do it yourself. That's serious, folks. You got to take charge of your own health. This is a very good thing. In addition, I will never back off of what's called elderberry. Elderberry is a phenomenal herb you can use. Okay, elderberry has antiviral properties. I have seen the slides myself when what's that other one from the one with the hook virus, which is that one? Ebola. Is it Ebola? Yeah, that deadly thing. If the enzymes that's in elderberry, I watched that stuff cut that virus in half so that it could not hook into the cell. It was amazing. It floored me. And that's, on the side of the road, those bushes, it's got the white flowers up there and the alternating leaves, I think it is. And I think it's alternating. I'll have to look it up or look at the ones out here again. But the flowers are there and then they become berries and they're really, really dark purple. I'm not talking about the wart, not poke. I'm not talking about poke. I'm not talking about sumac. Okay. Sumac doesn't have berries. It's actually, the berries are so fine and so teeny that the sumac that's drinkable is the tiny one it looks like a furry stag. It's called staghorn sumac, which is what you can drink. You can make pink lemonade with it. Never cook it. Tastes like crap if you do, but it's really good for you too. Anyway, back to poison sumac is something different, and we can leave that for another day. But elderberries, those berries are very dark purple and black, and do not consume them when they're green berries. Okay, you can ingest the flowers. You can make teas and tinctures with the flowers. You can actually make honey. Hang on. Let me get back. Let me get my breath here. Okay, so you can make elderberry honey. That's with the flowers when you put it in with honey and let it stew up, but the berry juice is phenomenal. I recommend it highly. And actually, I've got a huge jar of dried elderberries about yay big. And so I make a tea all the time with it. And I recommend everybody do that. You drink the tea at least once a week. There was a time I was drinking it every day. And when I stopped drinking it because I couldn't find the elderberry anymore, I was in a location where I couldn't find it. It took 4 years for me to catch a cold. So can I say yay elderberry? Hell yeah, I'll say it because it's really that good. It's an antiviral. It keeps you from getting sick. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. I know you've got some things too that you use, Brooks, that keeps you nice and healthy. What is that?
I take NDA or NAD, that's what it is, and Niagen, and that's basically it. Vitamin C every now and then. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Anyway, to answer the question in the chat, where do you buy this silver stuff? You can get it at your health food stores. You can get it at your holistic medicine stores. If you have an herbalist or a homeopath or a naturopath, I would recommend it, or a friend who is that. I would recommend you contact them, find out where the more reputable ones are. That way you're getting at least an idea of some safety factor. Just don't buy it from anybody on the internet that you don't know. Okay, please. I'm going to ask you to not do that. I'm going to ask you to contact your friends. See if you have friends that make it and have them teach you how to make it. Buy some from them and then have them teach you how to make it. That would be easy. Somebody said, named Stoker says, if you make colloidal silver yourself, do not let the dross that falls to the bottom recombine with the product. It's what tattoos the skin. Indigo? Indigo is silver?
Not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to look at that. I'll take a look into that. Thank you for the input, though. That is awesome. And so, lost track of where I was. Okay. So, Brooks, it's been just insane today. I'm telling you what. I'm tired of Washington. Let's just say it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
I really am tired. I do have to say, I hope that Cynthia's having a great day. She had a media day, and I did not get a hold of her. I'm sorry. I hope that she can perhaps one day do a pre-record with me. That would be neat. But she sent a post that says the pyramid of the intellect. You've got at the bottom row, high school diploma, then associate's degree, then you got bachelor's degree. These are getting narrower as you get higher in their ranking, right? Then you've got master's degree. Then at the top, you've got PhD. Then at the capstone is people who never took the COVID vaccine even after all the social pressure. Good job. That was an awesome tweet. So, Davos is firing off again. So, of course, I am very concerned with the money people that's at the Davos equals World Economic Forum. Okay. Somebody had posted that they think that everybody, all public officials in the United States government that goes to the World Economic Forum, if we can look you up and see that you've been to WEF, you should be jailed for treason.
Yeah.
And I agree. And that includes Ivanka Trump. Yes, including Ivanka Trump. She is part of that. She's a part of the World Economic Forum. Sorry. I know you guys love Trump and, you love Trump's family, but the answer is wrong answer. That is an organization that does not have America's best interest at heart. She, as far as I'm concerned, totally blew any chance at presidency in the future because she did that.
Yeah.
Which is sad because she would have been a great, first woman president. Definitely better than Hillary, eh? So let's see what else is going on in the world. Of course, this new monkeypox and the Sussman revelations has pretty much taken Ukraine off of the headlines for a bit, and I'm kind of like, finally, except for in respect to, and that's what we were talking about, what the common discussion was going on in the different social medias about was all of the traders that voted for Ukraine to get the 40 billion. It's 40 billion now?
Yeah.
40 billion. If you're a Republican and you voted for that, you already lost your office. There are many Americans that are pissed off because they're struggling to fill their gas tanks. They're struggling to find food for dinner. They're struggling to find formula. And what the ever-loving hell is going on when we have to have a humanitarian shipment sent to us? The United States of America actually had to be in receivership of humanitarian aid. This is the first time in history.
True.
It's the first time in history that we've ever had to receive humanitarian aid from another country. What the hell? Okay. Oh, okay. My friend, thank you. I can't say your name out loud, I know. Thank you so much to my friend who gave me the information and in regards to using condensed milk. Okay, you use condensed milk. You can add some liquid vitamins to it and pediatric vitamins to it, I should say, for babies and children. and you mix it with water, you warm it up, and you can serve that to your baby as a formula. Because if you think of the word formula, formula is not a specific thing. Formula is just that, a formula. Got Formula One. No, I'm teasing. But seriously, it's a formula. It's a mixture. Basically, a formula means a mixture of different things to create a new something. Okay, so do not be afraid about the formula thing. There are many women out there who are nursing right now, and they have extra. They are pumping extra for other babies. Okay, so ladies, we can do this. We do not need the government to help us feed our babies. Okay, let's show some independence, show the men how it's done. Anyway, we'll be right back. You're listening to TFRlive.com and
Hi, my name is Ella. I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Wow, that's a lot of people. Thank you. It's because we got. There's something about MAGA country, play it over again. We got, make America great again. And by the way, there's the word disinformation. Think of it. And by the way, this is the most corrupt election. Think of it. You know what? I am not the one trying to undermine American democracy. I am the one trying to save American democracy. If you say it enough and keep saying it, they'll start to believe you. But you know, they say over and over and over. If you say it enough and keep saying it enough, they'll start to believe you. And by the way, we got. There's something about MAGA country, play it over again. We got, make America great again. It's okay to get along with heads of other countries, don't you think? Trump was so friendly with Russia. Think of it. You know, they say it over and over on the fake news media. Oh, there's a lot of them. The media in this country is corrupt. Camera just went off. And keep saying it. They'll start to believe you. 2 cameras just went off. I think it's one of my greatest achievements. They don't like it when I do. Oh, gee, I'm so surprised. And by the way, we got. There's something about MAGA country, play it over again. We got, make America great again. They go.
Into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
back here?
We're almost
Yeah.
there.
We're almost there. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to bring up some details here. We were talking about the Ooga Booga that's coming out now, and I have publications and studies and everything, all this, a lot of stuff that buttresses my arguments for this thing. I want everybody to be clear. I don't just arbitrarily make up stuff and, spit it out. All right, please do know I don't do that. I look at the NIH.gov. I'm posting those links in the TFR live chat room right now. And I'm only going to read the conclusion because I'm looking at the charts and it's showing that it indeed, the silver, the nano silver does work. Antiviral metal nanoparticles. Okay. Nano means size. Okay. Doesn't mean that it's ionic or, it doesn't differentiate.
Mhm.
But antiviral metal nanoparticles does work on the monkey virus. Excuse me, the Ooga Booga. It block virus host cell binding and penetration. The silver nanoparticles and polysaccharide coated silver nanoparticles all did work. Works on influenza, Takaribi, I don't know how to pronounce that word, hepatitis B, stinking respiratory syncytial virus, herpes simplex, HIV. Okay, there's a lot of applications that the nano silver and, ionic silver or colloidal silver will work, okay, on a lot of viruses and bacteria, gram positive and gram negative viruses and bacteria. Please, folks, this attacks all of it. So definitely,
It does work.
It
does work. I know people that have struggled with lesions on their hand or their elbow or something, some kind of splinter or some kind of something under their skin. Put colloidal silver on it and it goes away. It's like the most amazing stuff.
Okay. In addition, I did look at the times on. Like I said, I've been diving deep. My brain is swimming in this information, so it is overwhelming. If it's overwhelming to me, I know it's going to be overwhelming to others. But I did see where in some cases on some. And it also works against E. coli. Okay, so all those scares about freaking E. coli on your spinach, guys, all you gotta do is get a spray bottle and mixture, and spray down your spinach leaves. If you have any doubts, I mean, if it doesn't have E. coli on it, okay. If it does, you're covered. It's covered. But anyway, so the efficacy, and time, I've seen from 1 minute to 6 hours. Okay, and the rate of efficacy, goes even higher, up to 24 hours. Okay, so please do know, kind of like, how I think we were talking about it, drinking out of a copper cup, drinking water out of a copper cup, because don't forget, it was here that you heard first about the New York Times misinformation piece about copper not having any effect on the COVID. It does have effect on the COVID. The New York Times cited a faulty study, and I got a hold of the one laboratory that decided to try that study again because they thought it was faulty too. They looked at it, they said, and they went and did their own study, and it was a little place in Scotland, not on the mainstream media, that's for sure, not listed in JAMA or any of those others. And these doctors found that yes, indeed, the copper, when a germ is placed on a copper surface, it does kill it within 4 minutes.
Wow.
Okay, so copper, remember I was talking about how the hippies used to wear copper on their arms all the time?
Oh, Indians did too. Native Americans did.
That's true. They did, didn't they? See? There's a reason for it, folks, okay? So I'm not talking out my butt, all right? Please do know that. I got a lot of source material, and I'm talking about NCBI, NLM, NIH, CDC, all these different publications. So please do know. And where's the one from Japan? I am very, 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 very excited about this one. That's not it. Let me find it. Because, of course, United States and NIH is not going to cover this. Silver ion formulations with virucidal efficacy against severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2. This was published June 20th, 2021, reviewed and published October 11th. Chapter focused on viral efficacy, evaluations of silver ion as AG plus or silver plus formulations against severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus, a virus associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, and feline calcivirus. They included that. A surrogate for human norovirus. Remember that big scare years ago? Anyway, the chapter discussed the proposal mechanism of inactivation with reference to some of the previous published articles. Anyway, so it goes on, and I want to get down to the, let's see. Nope, they didn't. The thing is I'm going to go ahead and put this in here again. I'm going to put this in the chat room in tfrlive.com chat. Reason being is because it is easy to read. The Japanese don't sit there and try to confuse you with all the weird terminology. Okay? So that's for your perusal. If I can find it again. There it is. Over here. Sorry, I've got things. Oh, here's another one, guys. Coming at you. All right. Now, other work. What else is going on? So I didn't mean to go so deep into this. Oh, Zuckerberg is being sued by DC Attorney General over the Cambridge I already told you about that. I already had that. Yeah. Okay, what else is new? Anybody? Bueller.
Well, you don't want to talk about Ukraine, but I want to talk a little bit about it.
Absolutely talk about Ukraine. I wanted to get those two topics taken care of.
There was a rumor. Well, it was actually a false piece of news that went out. And I'm sure it went out from the administration, the State Department, and thus the fake stream news. And that is that the Russians have a blockade and that they're not allowing Ukrainian vessels to set sail with wheat that they're trying to sell. And that is absolutely false. I checked with my sources. Every 15 minutes, 24 hours a day for many weeks, the Russians have been broadcasting in Russian and English a route. It's 80 miles long and 3 miles wide. It's totally open. It's called a humanitarian route. And they issued a public statement today, actually yesterday, that said the only reason the Ukrainian ships have not left is because Zelensky has ordered them to stay in port. So it is the Ukrainians that are putting all of Europe and the rest of the world in a world of hurt by not shipping the Ukrainian wheat.
Right. So that's it's contributing to the global shortage.
Yes.
So let's look at things. Look, what's the global shortage? Okay, supply chain and economics. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and I started getting some insights on what is going on. And I realized that what they're doing, so what they're doing is they're creating a supply chain interruption. It's not just the fuel prices. In addition to the fuel prices, which, go ahead. Looks like you had something to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. What we have to realize is all of this is engineered by whoever is writing the words on Joe Biden's teleprompter.
Agreed. So, because I do have friends and loved ones in the shipping industry. All right, and you know stuff about the shipping industry too. So what they've done is, what was the first stage of this? Think about it.
The first stage of a blockade?
No, of the worldwide shipping, the shipping situation. Not just worldwide. I'm talking about the food products, the supply chain. You know,
it goes back a ways. Go back to Long Beach. Remember when all the boats were stuck offshore of Long Beach and couldn't get unloaded, and they blamed it on the virus? It had nothing to do with the virus. Nothing. I interviewed a longshoreman out there, and they said they were under orders to run those cranes about 4 hours a day. Normally, they run 24 hours a day, and the trucks are going as fast as they can get those shipping containers stuck on wheels. But the trucks are sitting there 6 wide, 6 deep for days waiting on stuff to get unloaded off the boats. And it's not the boat's fault. It's not the pilot's fault. It's not the port's fault. It's the longshoremen. They're the ones that slowed it down. The question is, who gave them the orders and why? Was it to create a shortage in the U.S., or is it what I said? It was actually a Chinese blockade. Now, if you look at Shanghai, you look at Shenzhen, you look at Jiangsu, all of these places that normally have boats going in and out all the time, look at it. You'll see boats anchored all over the place. Some of them are just tooling around out in the water, empty. They have nothing on them. It's been a Chinese blockade for a long time.
Well, I'm not going to ascribe it only to the Chinese, because this is where they didn't have any control, because I saw this 2 years ago during the census. During the census period and the initial part of the COVID thing, remember the discussion about closing down the U.S. postal system?
I don't remember that, but anyway, you could refresh my memory.
Yep, they were even Trump, and they were decrying how Trump was, trying to sabotage the U.S. postal system, and I wondered at that. It didn't sound right, but apparently their retirement pay that they have to pay out to all these people who are surviving very well, long lives, after working 20, 30 years in the postal system.
Oh, right.
So people, all that money. So now when you pay for postage, I have no idea how much a stamp costs now. I haven't bought a stamp in I don't know how long. I mean, I've sent letters and just paid with my card, whatever, but I don't know what a stamp costs anymore. And I'll probably be shocked to find out what it is. But anyway, so they were trying to shut down the U.S. postal system already. So what does that do? It puts the control of postage or U.S. mail, the citizens' mail, that's supposed to be in the Constitution, not supposed to be touched. But anyway, moving on. That's going to be left in the hands of FedEx, UPS, and Amazon and delivery services like that. Okay. So that's going to be an interruption in the supply chain, because you can get things sent to you in the U.S. mail, right? If it's closed down, no longer can you do so. You have to pay the inflated prices of other shipping. So that was the first start of it. And then when we started seeing at the beginning of COVID, all those videos of the food being turned over into their garden or into their farmland, that mountain of potatoes that's being turfed into the soil again, so that they can maintain price controls. And I think you talked about this last night. I'm not sure. It was either last night or last week, where the farming industry is paid to not grow certain foods.
Yes. And the USDA is trying to they're trying to bring it up to 30 million acres. And so what happened was a lot of farmers have been in this program for years, 20, 30 years, 40 years. And the young people want to go ahead and farm their land. So they're not re-upping their 10-year CRP program. They're opting to go into production. Well, the USDA, this Deb Haaland that runs the Department of the Interior, she considers it that they're losing the land. They control the land for all this time, and they're losing the land and they want it back. So now they're considering using force to get that land back in the system. You see, they're basically controlling the land without buying it. That's what the CRP system is. So they're taking land out of food production in the middle of a food crisis for climate change.
And so they're basically depriving people their property and their occupation without proper compensation. Okay,
right.
So that's a crucial thing in there. So that's going to be eminent domain. They're going to try that. That doesn't work either. I've been all in the court cases today on Royer versus Royer versus Florida. Sorry. There's a reason. Yeah, if anybody ever goes to the Rutherford Institute and goes to their website, You will be overwhelmed with legal cases, but good, arguable, knowledgeable, good cases. Okay. Anyway, I didn't mean to go deviate from there. So, all right. So if I'm understanding right, so basically the Department of Agriculture is doing this, Brooks?
No, the Department of the Interior, Deb Haaland, is the one that's using the power of the agency through the USDA to force these farmers back into the CRP system, and they're trying to add millions more acres back into the system to take that land out of food production as well.
In the middle of a food crisis.
Yeah.
So, that's the one thing I have to say that I did enjoy about the military, okay, is that in the military there is a regulation that you have to follow all lawful orders, okay? Lawful orders. That means these edicts that these government agencies are doing and their people in them, that's not lawful. It might be legal, but it's not lawful. Again, I want to see some homework assignments submitted to me by the end of the week. I feel like a teacher all day. Anyway, another issue is like, now Chris Gio, the owner of the station here, he told me years ago about how he can't stand the smell of apples anymore. Because what they would do is the apple growers in Washington, when they harvested all those apples, they could not sell it on the market. They had to go dump it so it could rot because they wanted to maintain the price controls.
That's why CRP was developed in the first place, not for freaking climate change. It was to prevent the boom and busts that they were going through in the wheat industry. So they tried to level things out by saying, okay, you can only plant so much wheat. And that way, when the price would go up in wheat, everybody wouldn't go run out and grow wheat and drive the price back down. So they took millions and millions and millions of bushels of wheat off the market. Well, who filled it in? Russia, Ukraine. Ukraine grows 13% of the world's wheat. 13%. You know why? Because we don't.
Right. And see, I remember this very clearly, where the United States had to send a humanitarian shipment of wheat to Russia. I remember, the Soviet Union. The United States had to send a bunch of excess wheat that we had silos full of wheat, and we sent it off to the Soviet Union because they were having a bread crisis. They didn't have bread. Now, while that is, indicative of mishandling of farmland, it's indicative. We cannot blame the Soviet people, the people of the Soviet Union, for that because they had no control. Okay, they were forced by government.
Well, right now, Russia's had a bumper crop, an absolute bumper crop of wheat.
Yes, they have.
So they're feeding their own people. They have their own wheat. They have their own oil. They have their own nuclear power. They have their own crops. They don't need anything from anybody. They're totally self-sufficient. Exactly. But Europe needs the wheat. And by the way, Russia's the number one supplier of fertilizer in that part of the world as well. So they're all saying, "Oh, we're going to sanction Russia. We're not going to buy anything from Russia." But what's happening is they need what Russia has. Mm-hmm. And Russia doesn't have to sell it to them. They got a market globally. They can easily sell their stuff. They don't have to sell to Europe. The sanctions, right. and this is something the State Department needs to learn, okay? Sanctions work wonderful on third world countries. They don't work on global superpowers. They don't work because we're all interconnected. It's like saying, well, I'm going to sanction my foot. And so you take a double-bladed axe and slice into it. Damn, that hurts. That's what I'm saying. You can't sanction Russia without hurting the entire world. Russia's saying, well, you got to pay us in rubles. And they're saying, well, we don't want to pay in rubles. We're going to pay in euros. Russia says, fine, we'll buy it from somebody else in euros. We'll sell to them in rubles. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Exactly. And it's doing a lot of damage to our economy. And it's not their fault. They have to I don't blame them a bit. I mean, if we had our own country, we would do the same thing. I do want to get this. Hang on a second here. Let's see. There it is.
If
All
we
right.
had our own president, we would do the same thing.
Right. Now, speaking of supply chain and oil and rubles and everything like that. So the gold price today is $1,853.50 for an ounce. Silver is down to $21.79 per ounce. Told you. I told you that the other day, right?
I'm buying some more.
Buy up. Same thing with Bitcoin, folks, because today, I mean, as of when I took the note of it, it was $29,160.79. Please hear me on this. Do not buy shitcoin. Okay. If it's not Bitcoin, I would recommend not buying it unless it's Monero. Monero is a different animal. It's kind of like Bitcoin is gold, Monero is silver. You know, if you're going to play with the alternative coins and tokens, please consider it like a slot machine. Once you put your money in there, you're not getting it back. Okay. If you look at it like that, you will not be devastated when it goes to -0. Okay. Yes, I said that on purpose. All right. You won't be shocked if all your money goes away. If you've got the money to play on a slot machine and put coin in that or vouchers, whatever have you, highly recommend that you do not put your wealth in there. Do not put your savings in there. And definitely don't put your retirement in there. You put it in Bitcoin. Leave it there for 3 years. Those of you who have been embarking on Bitcoin like I have at the same time, you know, I recently got it and I'm going to wait 3 years. Okay. Cause that's what I said when I put my money in there in the first time. It's like, because every 3 years, you're going to see a difference. You're going to be happy that you put your money there. I said it at the first and I mean it today. Do not, here's another thing about Bitcoin. Please hear me on this. Do not leave your Bitcoin on online wallets.
Especially Coinbase.
Oh my God. None. Period. End of discussion. None. This is a cold wallet. See this? This is a Nano S. Okay. It's an older version. And I don't have it plugged in, as you see. It's a dongle. There's a plug-in thingy right here. And you connect it to your computer or to your phone or whatever have you. This is where I keep my cryptocurrency. Okay. Bitcoin is on this. Nobody can take this from me. Okay, they might try to take that, but they're not getting in there. I have the passphrase. Nobody else has it except for one person. Guess what? They're not taking my stuff. It's mine. And I bought what I bought with after-tax dollars, so they can't say I'm trying to avoid taxes or anything like that. It was after-tax dollars. They can't touch it. And the only way that they can take it from you is if they force you or convince you to give up your passphrase. Okay? Don't do it. Don't carry it with you. Seriously, guys, really, 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 it's a very safe place. And God, it feels so good to have that. Holy crap. It's like having silver in your pocket or having gold in your pocket. That's how free it feels. It's like, whew, makes me want to go read the Constitution again. Seriously. Anyway, so Bitcoin at $29,160.79. So if you're going to buy it, this is the time. All right. Even if it goes down, you still have this amount. And when it goes up, and whatever you do, if the price plummets, that is not the time to sell it. You hang on to it and wait till it comes back up. If you want to get rid of it, wait till it comes back up, and it will come back up, and then sell it. Anyway, the euro is at $1.07. That's interesting. Used to be, it was like $1.19 and stuff, remember? Now it's $1.07. Oil prices, $107.28 per barrel. So guess what, folks? That means that the prices are going to remain high at the pump. But what gets me is that the oil prices have not been increasing lately, but the gas prices are. So that means the shareholders are making a shit ton of money on our backs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We're screaming and crying. Shareholders are not. Shareholders are sitting pretty. And if you've got stocks in these oil companies, you better take a look and see how much money, how many gains you're getting, and see if it's worth it. Are you paying more in gasoline fuel increases, or are you making as much in the dividends? Take a look at your dividends. If you're making more there than your gas costs, okay, you're sitting pretty, because you really don't have a cost. But keep in mind, there's a whole lot of people out there pissed off. There's people out in California drilling holes in people's gas tanks and stealing their gas that way. So you might be next, letting you know. Anyway, we're about to go to break again, aren't we? Oh my gosh, has it been 3 segments already?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So what I'm doing, I'll cover this real quick. What I'm doing, we're trying to get our system, or trying to get my system totally off of Microsoft and stuff like that. We are working very hard at that, so it's a work in progress, and forgive me if I seem awkward when I get there. Okay, anyway, we're going to be right back, folks. You're listening to Quantum Connections here on TFRLive.com and other platforms with Brooks Agnew and Luckee One. We'll be right back.
Learning to attack the problem. It's very important to go after the insidious. The great leader of the Christians says, "The things I once hated I now love. The things I once loved I now hate." It's so important to incorporate both love and hate in the same conversation. Now, let me give you the dilemma. This stuff isn't easy. It's so easy to be careless with words and get the wrong reaction. What if you meant to say, "What's troubling you?" and instead you said, "What's wrong with you?" Can you imagine the difference? Just the mistake of one small word means all the difference in the world in the kind of reaction that you get. But here's the dilemma: to attack the problem but not the person. God's got the same dilemma. God says, "I love you, but I hate your sinful ways." Now, see, that's a challenge, to show somebody that you love them but you hate. How do you put love and hate in the same sentence? I'm telling you, it is essential to show your contempt for the problem and your concern.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Once in a decade, a true story comes along that remembers the future. After 6 Amazon bestsellers, I have completed the epic Birth Trilogy, a true story of Earth. By reading the Birth Trilogy, you will journey with the characters from the origin of Earth to its final destiny in a white-knuckle ride that combines the intrigue of Tom Clancy with the epic scope of Prometheus and Interstellar. You will learn more about the purpose of life, the mystery of death, and the true nature of your soul than you thought possible. The Birth Trilogy is now available on Amazon and Kindle. The audio version is a free bonus when you buy the paperback, so even if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. Use the Amazon app today and buy the Birth Trilogy, spelled B-E-A-R-T-H, or search for my name. I'm Brooks Agnew.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Those guys, they want to hold on to their power at any cost, and they don't care if people have to die. They don't care if, the state has to be destroyed. They don't care if the environment has to be destroyed. They will hold at any cost, at the cost of everything.
All right, everybody, we're back. This is Luckee One here with Quantum Connections. With me is Brooks Agnew, who has kindly hosted us on his YouTube today and many other platforms that that intermission right there, that intro right there, that was Russell Bentley. He has been living in Ukraine in Donbass since 2014, I believe.
Right.
2015, 2014.
Right. 8 years.
Holy moly. He said that years ago on our show, that statement on our show years ago. And he's right. He's right. And I'll tell you what, that man he is just a huge, kind of like Ronald Reagan. He's a soundbite maven, okay? He really is. He can make sound bites out of any conversation, and it's amazing. But that was a preferred one. And the other one was, he said, you'll never be happy unless you are brave. You have to take that step and do that thing you're afraid to do. You will never be happy in your life until then. That was a beautiful thing to say. It really, and because he's right. He's absolutely right. So what I'm looking for is something that's going on despite Florida's ban on discussion of sexuality for young children. I just found this. This was posted 10 hours ago. State Farm launches program to distribute LGBTQ books to kindergartners. Household Name Insurance Company has launched a program that would enlist hundreds of staff volunteers across the country to distribute these themed books to teachers, community centers, libraries, explicitly targeting children as young as kindergartners. In a collaboration with the Gender Cool Project, State Farm aims to help diversify classroom, community center, and library bookshelves with a collection of books to help bring clarity and understanding to the national conversation about being trans. Enough already, folks, okay? So, to me,
you know why they do this? You know why they do this? Because LGBTQM, they don't reproduce. They can't breed. So the only way to grow the community is to recruit kids. Mm-hmm. They're coming after your kids.
And they are. And if you think they're not, you trust them to be in your bathrooms? If not,
no.
Seriously. It's enough already. Let's see here. That's what I'm looking for. So check this out. So Yuma County, I don't know if you heard about the results from the 20,000 mules, whatever it's called.
The results as of last night are that there have been 0.0% of mules arrested. Nobody has been arrested. No drop boxes have been destroyed. If that doesn't happen, if they don't start arresting the mules and crushing those drop boxes and sending them to the scrapyard, we're going to lose the 2022 election.
Okay, good to know. County.
What they did is they raided the nonprofits. They raided the nonprofits, and so they have their mailing lists.
I have too many things open at the same time.
They raided their nonprofits.
Say again?
They raided their nonprofits.
Okay.
And they got their mailing lists.
So Yuma County did have a press release, the sheriff's department, and this is a huge thing. Say again?
No, go ahead. They raided the nonprofits, and that's
I've got too many things open, I guess.
They just didn't get the.
Close it all.
They didn't make any arrests. All they did is raid the nonprofits and get their information.